Okay, we'll now begin the session 2. As with the session 1, session 2 will be conducted in English as well. So if you need any translation service, please put your receiver on and set channel 1 for Korean, channel 2 for English, channel 3 for Japanese, and channel 4 for Chinese. Session 2 is Asia Cruise Destinations session held under the theme Future of the Asian Cruise Destinations Policies and Vision 2035. The presentations will be given by the speakers from the 5 Asia Cruise destinations. So we are now pleased to invite our first speaker of the session 2, Mr. Alvin Geoffrey Alphonso, the Chief Executive Officer of the Port Klang Cruise Terminal, which is one of the Malaysia's cruise port and is undergoing a transformation into a world-class cruise terminal. And he is an accomplished leader in the logistics and maritime industry and currently serves as a Chief Executive Officer of the PKCT. So now let's give him a big round of applause to Mr. Alvin Geoffrey Alphonso.
Thank you to the lovely MC for the wonderful introduction. Ladies and gentlemen, good evening. Once again, I'm Alvin Geoffrey, and I'm from Port Klang Cruise Terminal. Firstly, I'd like to thank the organizers for giving me the opportunity to speak today. This is actually my very first time at the Asia Cruise Forum in Jeju, and I'm honored to be here. So to start, I will give you a little bit of background information on who and what Port Klang Cruise Terminal is about. Port Klang Cruise Terminal is one of 3 dedicated cruise terminals in Malaysia. In the whole of Malaysia, we have dedicated facilities for cruise in Port Klang, which is the closest part to Kuala Lumpur. We also have dedicated facilities up in Penang and also in Langkawi. So Port Klang Cruise Terminal is actually the closest point to the heart of Kuala Lumpur city center. We are located approximately 55 kilometers or about 1 hour away from the heart of the city. And similarly, we are also about 1 hour away from Malaysia's largest international airport, which is the Kuala Lumpur International Airport. So over the years, Port Klang Cruise Terminal has gone through several owners. The very first owner of PKCT was actually Star Cruises, which is a very familiar name in the cruise industry. So in 2021, the terminal was acquired by 2 of the largest cargo port operators in Malaysia, which is basically Westports Holdings and also Northport Malaysia. So in total, the terminal has 3 berths. The existing infrastructure has got 3 berths. One is the outer berth, where we can accommodate vessels, large cruise vessels. The total length that we have is 450 meters with a depth of 14 meters alongside. And we also have 2 inner berths, which the total length ranges from 195 meters to 210 meters, both having a draft alongside of 10 meters. So now I jump into the main points, and I believe most of these points were actually covered by our respected industry leaders during session 1. So these are very relevant points in our particular industry. And today's session will be covering what it takes to enhance the destination's appeal and what it takes to attract global cruise lines to come and either transit or home port at your respective ports. So one of the key actions that we are currently undertaking is to invest in the modernization of our terminal building As mentioned earlier, our terminal is close to 30 years old right now. And we realized that in order to compete or to keep the entire experience fresh, we need to upgrade our facilities. We need to improve the entire passenger experience. And often when we talk about upgrading the terminal or improving the passenger experience, people always think that we need to have the most stylish looking terminal or the most lavish looking terminal with all the bells and whistles. But if you speak to most cruise lines, what they are looking for is efficiency. Efficiency in how you get your passengers through the terminal within the shortest span of time. And that usually places a lot of emphasis in your CIQ facilities, the number of customs and immigration counters that you have, how quickly you can get the passengers from point A to point B. In Port Klang Cruise Terminal, we have a KPI that from the point the ship berths to the point the passengers are on the tour buses, it should not take anything more than 45 minutes. So we share a lot of similar, requirements that the cruise lines have, and we have incorporated a lot of these things into our upgrading of the facility. Another point, I think even Royal Caribbean, Wendy mentioned it earlier, the port city integration, the ease of movement from the terminal into the city. That is also a point that is often overlooked, especially for terminals like mine that's located slightly out of the city. How quickly can we get the passengers into the city? If we have only roads that we rely on, how do we then improve the traffic flow of these tour buses from the port in the city? And what we are currently doing right now at Port Klang Cruise Terminal is we are requesting for the assistance from our local police authority. So in the event there is congestion on some of these main roads, these buses are then escorted into major parts of the city so they don't have to go through the regular traffic. We are also speaking with the rail line operators to provide dedicated services. When we've got a cruise ship in port, we then have dedicated rail facilities that take the passengers straight into the city. So these are some of the ways that we're looking to promote the port and city integration. When it comes to the creation of themed itineraries across Asian countries, what we are looking at right now is not to compete with our neighbors, but how we can complement each other, because every country has its own strength, be it culture, be it our points of attraction. Every country has its own attraction, and it would not be very good if all of us tried to provide the same type of attractions. We need to leverage on our strengths in order to make our itineraries interesting and fresh. Shore excursions, the next point. That's also a point which was brought up by our session panelist earlier as well. When I took on this role in Port Klang Cruise Terminal, I realized that a lot of shore excursions that were being sold was more than 10 to 15 years old. The products that were being sold was more than 10 to 15 years old. So they were getting a little bit old, they were getting a little bit boring, because I think in the world of cruising, we do have a lot of repeat cruises. So the last thing you want them to experience is the same thing that they experienced 10 to 15 years ago. That's not adding any value to your port of call, neither is it making it interesting. So what we have done at Port Klang Cruise Terminal is we have established a working group comprising of not only cruise lines, but also shore excursion companies and our local tourism bodies to introduce and to rejuvenate the entire shore excursion experience at Port Klang Cruise Terminal. This is also a point that's often spoken about in most of these forums, policy alignment and regional collaboration. So harmonizing of regulations across ports and nations, this is something that we are also actively looking at right now in Malaysia. And before we actually go out into covering harmonization of our neighboring countries, we are first taking a good look at our own internal policies. Because what we have realized sometimes, the policies that apply in Port Klang differ from what it is in Penang or Langkawi, which are other cruise ports. So we are taking a hard look at our own internal policies first to make sure everyone internally is aligned before we start speaking to the others. The establishment of multi-country cruise corridors, I think this is something that Southeast Asia can learn from this part of the world, because there are a lot of, for example, there are quite a number of itineraries covering Japan, Korea, and China. And from my understanding, a lot of these policies and these processes are pretty efficient and quite seamless from my understanding. And perhaps this is some or a potential area for Southeast Asia to learn a little bit from. Incentivized home porting, I think this was also another point which was brought up by the panelist earlier. What we are looking at right now is not only to be providing incentives in the form of monetary incentives, but the government of Malaysia, we are actually going as far as providing commitments to cruise lines, saying that, look, if you have a cruise service that you want to deploy for an entire season or more, they would then be in the position to provide that source market, which will form the base number of passengers that's required to make a cruise line or a cruise service successful. So this is some of the commitments that we're doing right now to attract cruise lines to come and either home port or provide a little bit more transit services in Malaysia. Joint marketing campaigns, this is something that I cannot emphasize enough. We need to constantly promote our countries, our respective countries together, because only if we can sell ourselves together will we then be an itinerary for a lot of cruise lines. If we work independently, we may not have that much of an impact. So joint marketing campaigns are something that we really aim to achieve over the next couple of years. Sustainable and smart cruise tourism. I think this is also a point that's often spoken about. At Port Klang Cruise Terminal, what we are looking to achieve over the next couple of years is to have more greener port technologies. For example, the implementation of shore power. But shore power on its own is not the only way for us to attract cruise terminals. We also have got other indicators. For example, we are now looking at even going down to the level of the tugboats that bring in these cruise vessels into Port Klang. What sort of emissions are they looking at? So we are pretty active as far as our initiatives on green port technology is concerned. And this is another point, over-tourism through scheduling and capacity planning. If you look at a lot of cruise ports around the world, I think one of the biggest challenges we have is we probably have 1 or 2 days that are extremely busy and a few others that are completely empty. And a lot of this has to do with the way we are currently scheduling a lot of these cruise services. So the idea here is to see how we can best work with each other to have a good spread of cruise services in a week or a month. Another area that Malaysia is actively looking into right now is to basically raise an awareness of the cruise potential in Malaysia. And similar to what Korea is doing, especially through this platform in Jeju, we intend of hosting an international cruise conference end of next year. And during this session, we will be inviting cruise stakeholders like yourselves to come and experience what Malaysia is about and to also possibly experience what cruising is about in Malaysia. So the local tourism bodies, which I mentioned earlier. So the way Malaysia does things may differ from how other countries are doing it, but historically, the role of the tourism bodies in Malaysia, it's actually a little bit different from how, for example, Singapore, Hong Kong, or Korea does it. It has always been the responsibility of the cruise terminals to promote the country. And now with a little bit more emphasis, my government's emphasis on cruise tourism, we are now switching things around. So we're getting a lot more support and assistance from our tourism bodies in terms of promoting Malaysia on the global platform. So in conclusion, what I'd like to say is actually Malaysia is more than a home port. We offer everything from diversity to accessibility and the hospitality of Malaysians in general. So this is something that we want to actively promote to the global stage, and PKCT will be playing the role of quite a number of players. So we want to do things a bit differently. We don't want to work purely as a terminal, but we want to be that go-to, that one-stop center between the requirements of a cruise line and the requirements of the country as far as cruise tourism is concerned. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Alphonso, for the impressive presentation. We have heard the strategies and the operations of the PKCT, and lastly, we knew the advantages of the Malaysia industry in the maritime sector. So thank you very much. I think 10-minute presentation is very short, right? So I think everyone here should really focus on what the speakers are trying to say, because we don't have much time. So we would like to move on to the next speaker. The second speaker is Mr. Chan-Jung Chang from the Taiwan International Ports Corporation. He's the vice president, and he has served TIPC for many years, drawing on his extensive professional expertise, and he has played a pivotal role in layering a strong foundation of the growth of the Taiwan's cruise industry. So please give Mr. Chan-Jung Chang a big round of applause.
好，谢谢主持人以及各位与会的贵宾，大家好。很荣幸今天来参加这场重要的一个论坛。台湾港务公司 TIPC 向主办单位表达最诚挚的感谢，也向各位致上最热烈一个问候。首先我想分享一下我们未来亚洲经济环境的一个预估状况。那我们可以看得到这个表格里面有提到，根据 IMF 的预测，亚洲主要的国家人均 GDP 将稳定的成长。那在2040年的时候呢，亚洲地区占全球的 GDP 呢有42%，那这样子的邮轮发展是很有机会有很大的机会的。那第二个部分呢，在邮轮舱位的数量成长部分呢，依照 CLIA 的预测，在2024到2028呢，全球的邮轮舱位将成长10%。另外，Cruise Industry News 的预测，在2033年，全球的舱位将成长30%。那这样子的舱位成长是非常具有潜力的。所以未来亚洲区域的 GDP 在大幅成长的情况下，那配合邮轮的舱位的增加，我们合理的来推论在未来有更多的邮轮会在我们亚洲地区来航行，也可以来带动我们亚洲邮轮市场的一个兴盛发展。接下来我会来介绍一下我们台湾邮轮近年来的一个趋势。首先我们看一下我们台湾旅客台湾籍的旅客平均的年龄是45.1岁这在最左上角这边。然后同年度在全球的平均年龄是46.5岁，也代表是台湾旅客是年轻化的程度比较高。那这样子的程度的话，消费力台湾的消费力是非常的强的那另外以这个台湾出发的航程来看的话，在2018、2019台湾的邮轮平均的航程天数不到3天是2.94天2.94日。但是呢，到了2023到2024年，平均的航程天数增加到3.58日。也就是说，台湾的邮轮旅客对于长天数的航程呢，接受度是越来越高的。另外在外籍旅客 来台湾的这个部分，有在2018年是25.7万人次，25.7万人次，然后到了2024年达到了26.6万人次。预估呢，我们预估在今年2025年更有望来超过36万人次。以这样子的程度是创下的历史最高的纪录。好，那另外我们预估在2017年Black Cruise 的旅客是达到4.4万人次。那另外2025年呢，达到5.4万人次，也创下的历史的新高。好，在我们要鼓励邮轮来台湾我们必须有一些措施来鼓励邮轮。那我们在鼓励邮轮的同时，我们在 TIPC 呢，我们有一些奖励措施。第一个，我们为了要强化 Black Cruise 的业务，针对母港的邮轮，只要是外国籍的旅客，你全船有30% 以上的话，我们每位旅客会减收100元的新台币。那第二个是我们台湾的观光署针对每一趟 Black Cruise 的，依照实际入境旅客数的话，是给予每人10万美金的一个10块钱10元美金的一个奖助。另外，我们会开辟多元的航线，除了现在是基隆往日本的航线以外，我们在今年11月份的时候，我们在冬季会新增加了高雄到菲律宾，还有高雄到越南的一个航线。好，那在这个开辟航线的同时，我想每个邮轮公司是希望在基础设施都要同步来进行，所以我们预估亚洲邮轮市场持续成长，需要有更多的港口来配合这样子的选择，所以我们也 TIPC 也在近年来都在不同港口里面去建设邮轮码头。首先，我们在澎湖港，我们已经在2024年已经将码头延伸到380公尺，水深到10公尺，也就是说15万吨15万总吨的邮轮都可以来靠泊。那在旁边的邮轮码头中心呢，我们在2026年会完工。那另外，苏澳港的部分呢，我们苏澳港的部分呢是在东北角。那我们在2024年的6月也完成了邮轮码头的改建，这个是适合小型还有奢华的邮轮靠泊。那另外在基隆港的部分呢，我们除了港口的建设以外，我们在周遭也有一些新的景点。就是新的一个基隆塔的一个地标在我们的港口边而已。这个是可以让邮轮的旅客马上就可以来旅游。那再来是我们高雄港的部分，我们把过去的这个仓库群这个整个的仓库群，我们都把它重新整修，可以吸引人来餐厅、酒吧、商店、邮轮旅客步行就可以轻松的来到达。到了2023年，我们新的邮轮码头启用以后，我们也把旧的码头来改建，预定在2026年完工。然后2座邮轮码头可以满足在2035年以前的成长需求，同时间可以靠4艘的邮轮。那除了这样子的这个基础设施以外，刚刚有几位讲者都有提到，通关服务是非常重要，所以我们在港口部我们也提供更便捷的一个通关服务，在2035年呢，船舶大型化更明显所以我们会有减少通关时间。我们在今年6月已经开始取消出境盖章的一个工作那改以脸部辨识的方式来取代指纹可以来加速通关效率。另外呢，我们也逐年来增加自动通关这是 e-gate 自动通关的一个设施。好，再来。另外，刚刚那个巴生港的这个讲者也提到推动永续是各个港口必要的一个工作所以我们在呼应2050年的净零碳排的议题，我们规划在2026年会完成高雄港跟基隆港的岸电设施。我们希望跟亚洲各个港口一起合作，在2035年让邮轮岸电在整个亚洲都非常的一个普及。最后，我们会加强跟 邻近港口的一个交流合作。就像我们今天聚集在这个地方，那我想我们港口之间可以互相来合作设计季节性的一个航线。另外，我们可以串联东北亚、东南亚的旅游景点，提供更多元的邮轮的航线，打造更具吸引力的邮轮旅游目的地，将邮轮更多的邮轮从其他的地区吸引来亚洲进行营运。最后刚刚是我的一个分享很荣幸我们台湾可以在邮轮产业的发展道路上，跟在场的伙伴来共同合作。我们呢相信我们各个港口还有我们邮轮公司，一定在最短的时间里面可以看到疫情以后超越历史巅峰的一个亚洲邮轮市场。以上是我的报告，谢谢大家。
Thank you. It was a really impressive and insightful presentation. Thank you once again. As we are running a little bit slightly behind the schedule, so we kindly ask all the speakers to strictly observe the time allowance. Thank you very much. And next, we will invite Mr. Yusuke Itokawa, the Vice Chairman of the Japan International Cruise Committee, to the stage. Please give him a big round of applause.
Okay. First of all, thank you for this opportunity, and thank you, Jeju local government. My name is Itokawa, Vice Chairman, JICC, Japan International Cruise Committee. My part is to consider the entire itinerary, regardless of the destination in Japan. Please see agenda. First one, Japan home port sailing. Here I will talk about the history and the target. Secondly, important market for Japanese industry, not only inbound, outbound as well. Third, the unique character of Japanese port. Here I will discuss the PR and the strategy for 2035. Okay, first one, Japan home port sailing. Japan home port sailing now is very popular, but the first one started in 2010 with Royal Caribbean. At that time, each cruise line were considered Japan as a key market. So, furthermore, in the later half of the 2010s, various cruise lines will enter the market, but they will gradually shift their target. So, this is also influenced by the fact that Tokyo was chosen as the host city for the 2020 Olympics. In 2023, following the end of the pandemic, numerous luxury and expedition class ships started in Japan. Some of these ships will have no Japanese passenger on board. Number two, next, we will consider what is important for the cruise industry in Japan. Cruise lines naturally deploy ships to area where there is a demand and the revenue will increase. We believe that three markets are important creating demand. A, the Western market. It means the American, Europe, and the Australian, New Zealand. B, Asian market. The Korea, China, and Japan. Korea, China, and Taiwan. Other rest of the Japan. C, Japan market. It's all category including the Japanese cruise line. A, it's a luxury expedition premium class ship, the Western market. So in order to approach this market, it is necessary to improve the quality of the shorelegs and develop new tourism attraction. In short, it is important to keep visitors interested in Japan and keep them coming back. That's one. And number two, Asian market. It's contemporary the casual cruise ship for the Asian market. Geopolitically, this market can easily increase in the number of the port of the call. However, there are the politically risk and issue related to over-tourism. But like as a Mediterranean, it has great potential for carrying the passenger from various countries. It means China, Korea, Japan, Taiwan, something. C, Japanese market. Finally, Japanese market. This is the most important in Japan. In Japan, particular, if there is no market, cruise line will not continue to deploy the ships. How to expand the market? Sorry. Yeah, next one is this figure, the Japanese cruise market. Before the COVID, the 2019, 356,000 passenger. But last year, in 2024, Japanese market reached 224,000. Still not back to the 2019 level of 356,000. This is also the major challenge for Japan, how to expand in the market. But this requires several hours of discussion, so I will omit it here. Okay, number three, next let's take a look at the unique character of the Japanese port. This is number of the foreign cruise passenger visiting the Japan. 2017, the 2 million. Sorry, the change the 10,000 locator. 2017, 2.5 million the passenger come in Japan. And this year, 2025, Japanese government, the target is the same, the 2.5 million also. It is 10 times more than outbound market. Okay. The next one, number of the cruise ship calling the Japanese port. Yellow color, Japanese registration cruise ship, and the blue color, international cruise ship. The number of the cruise ship is calling at the Japanese port. So 2024, totally the 2,479 port of the call. And of which the 2,000 were by international ship. Yeah. And the next one, the breakdown of the international cruise ship calling the by category. Yeah, so this figure, you can see the 2016, 17, 18, 19, the big one in the casual. Casual contemporary the cruise ship is a green color, and the yellow color is a premium class. And the blue color, the luxury, the small ship, and then the red color is the expedition. Yeah. So the 2023, even though this figure is a little bit old from the 2023, you can see that the luxury and the expedition class have grown to about double their pre-pandemic level. And this one is number of the port visit by international cruise ship. Yeah, as you know, despite its compact size, Japan has more than 100 ports that can accommodate the cruise ship. The number of the port of the call has increased due to the growing the number of the small luxury and expedition class ship. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, last one. All Japanese port management handled by local government. They have the port sales individually and wide area collaboration. However, central government, Japanese central government, MLIT, has a global cruise line contact window for everything. It means the CIQ and the Shorex and something. Other hand, Japanese Tourism Board, JNTO, promote all Japanese port in sea trade global. From now on, we believe that we have the entire stage where we need to formulate a strategy and promote them as a country. Over the next 10 years, we hope to contribute to sustainable development of the Northern Asian region. Okay, thank you. 감사합니다.
Thank you very much, Mr. Itokawa, for your outstanding presentation. Thank you. We had an opportunity to look around the Japan's cruise and tourism industry in detail. Our next speaker is Miss Marilyn Tham from Hong Kong Tourism Board. She is driving growth in various expanding sectors in the tourism and industry. So please give her a big round of applause.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. 안녕하세요. So, my name is Marilyn. Marilyn Tham. I'm from Hong Kong Tourism Board. So this is also my first time attending this Asia Cruise Forum. So thank you so much for having me today. And it's my great pleasure to be here today attending this forum because I'm looking forward to all the amazing food and stunning scenery of Jeju. Thank you so much. So before I go into the subject today, so maybe we can look into the potential growth of the cruise market. So the 2025 CLIA report reveals that there were 34.6 million cruises globally last year, represent but only 2.7% of international travel, which indicates that is a great potential for growth. And the global passengers volume increased by 9.3% in 2024, and the growth momentum will be continued to grow, raised by another 9%, resulted in 37.7 million passengers globally projected in 2025. But however, the cruise penetrations rate in Asia still lag behind more mature cruise markets, such as the United States. Across Asia, the average penetration is estimated to be below 0.2% in 2025. Whereas in US, with its strong cruise culture, it's expected to reach a 5.2% penetration rate. So the question is, how we could cultivate the Asian market to take cruises for their cruise holiday. So first, maybe we need to note what are the cruise passengers they're looking for. The CLI report unveils that the ability to visit multiple destinations and value for money are the top reasons that the cruises love to cruise. So generally, visitors, they're looking for varieties of activities to experience at the destinations. And hence, it is very important that to understand the strengths of our destination and how to leverage these competitive advantages to attract potential cruisers. And now, let's take a closer look at how we position Hong Kong as a cruise destination. And second, the initiatives we have implemented in the city. Last but not least, how we could do further together to boost the cruise holiday demand in Asia. Visitors would like to look for something new, something different in their trip. And Hong Kong always delights our guests with a dazzling variety of experiences, from iconic attractions to new discoveries. We make sure every visit to Hong Kong is unique with choices. And let me share more about the destination's offerings to cater all segments' needs. So usually, for first-time cruisers, they might choose to experience the area near the terminal. And the Kowloon City neighborhood, home to the Kai Tak Cruise Terminal, is emerging as one of the hotspots in the city. Visitors can enjoy the beauty and history of the Kowloon Wall City Park. Also, they can explore a range of activities in the state-of-art Kai Tak Sports Stadium, which opened early this year and has already attracted a lineup of world-class events, from live performance like Coldplay concerts to international sport tournaments. For example, like Hong Kong Rugby Sevens and the upcoming 2 football matches featuring Liverpool, AC Milan, Arsenal, and Tottenham. It is very exciting, isn't it? And of course, they can experience Hong Kong's most robust cultural communities that make Hong Kong so unique. So cruise holidays continue to be a top choice for multi-generational travelers, according to the CLI report. And theme parks are must-go attractions for families. Introducing new or seasonal offerings of international and local well-established theme parks will attract new and repeat visitors. So this year, I'm so happy Hong Kong celebrates the 20th anniversary of the Hong Kong Disneyland Resort. So with a spectacular array of events that are not to be missed, including the brand new and the largest ever parade and the grandest ever nighttime spectacular. Another major theme park in Hong Kong, Ocean Park Hong Kong, where guests will have the opportunity to meet the adorable panda, the twins cubs. So they are the first pair born in Hong Kong last August. So promoting the seasonal themes to cruise lines and land operators, ensure visitors are aware of these new attractions, offerings, and time-limited offers is very important. We also enhance the land experiences tailored to different interest segments. Arts and culture experiences are getting more popular, especially for Gen Z and millennial travelers these days. So West Kowloon Cultural District is a hub for art enthusiasts. There are 2 major museums, namely the Hong Kong Palace Museum and M+. They not only showcase the world-class exhibits from very top-notch artists, but they also organize regularly different theme activities combining arts, entertainment, culture, dining, etc. And what could offer a more authentic experience than immersing yourself in the local culture, that is horse racing. With its very rich history in Hong Kong, it's not just a sport. It's an exhilarating sport that provides entertainment and culinary delights for visitors. And one of Hong Kong's most renowned cultural highlights is its dining scenes. Visitors would enjoy great choices from authentic local flavors to Michelin-star restaurants. And not to forget Asia's finest bars in the city. See, the video will work again. I'm going to show not working, the video? Okay, maybe I share the videos with you all later on. And then great outdoors, so cater diverse travel preferences. Hong Kong seamlessly combines the vibrancy and conveniences of an urban city with the lush green spaces for those who cherish the great outdoors. So there's a wealth of very vitalizing options from hiking trails, beaches, marine parks, Hong Kong, UNESCO Geopark, all sorts of water sport, you name it. Mega events, so to elevate our destination's appeal and cater the needs of visitors. They're always looking for value-added experiences, right? So we integrate Hong Kong's major events and festive celebrations into the cruise programs. Visitors can fully immerse themselves in the authentic accents of Hong Kong throughout the whole year. So you can see our calendar from the beginning of the year to end. So there are different happenings and celebrations. So travel agents will never be short of idea for packaging pre- and post-cruise products. Given the rich resources and diverse experiences available, so we got no doubt on visitors' satisfaction that Hong Kong always scores above 0.9. And what's next is how do we leverage all these assets to increase the ship's deployments and ultimately achieve a greater market share in the region. So first, I want to highlight that the growth of the whole Asia cruise industry cannot be achieved by just a single destination alone. So we are not competitors, we are partners. The destinations and ports should be working closely together, combining our resources to achieve greater productivity in developing compelling itineraries, driving extensive marketing coverage, and offering seamless facilitations for global cruise companies and their passengers. We collaborate actively with mainland China and Asian markets to promote our destination and update regularly our cruise lines with our latest offerings and happenings. Collectively, we can showcase our competitive edges of the Asian market and reinforce an unforgettable travel experiences that the cruise passengers will cherish when they come to our destinations. Second, how to grow the demand and sustain the demand and drive growth. So when you have a nice product with attractive itineraries, so it's very important to identify your source market, understand the target segment characteristics, develop effective partnership with all our nearby regions, and actively drive consumers' interest and demand through integrated promotions. To sustain the demand, we can't solely rely on domestic market as well. So attracting international cruise passengers is very important. And we have been collaborating with different cruise lines and travel agents to create more inviting fly cruise package promotions. Recent trend indicates that luxury cruise travel market has tripled since 2010, based on the number of the ships offering luxury experiences. So we capitalize on this opportunity. Hong Kong has been curating some very special and luxurious experiences for these high net worth individuals. So let me share with you an example here. We leverage on the staging of our annual wine and dine festival and offer some money can't buy experiences to our cruise line, creating lifetime unforgettable moment for the guests. Creative ideas are very welcome from cruise line and travel trade partners. So, ladies and gentlemen, the cruise potential is here, and with our collective effort, I truly believe that we can drive a new level of success together. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for your wonderful, passionate speech. I'm sure the presentation reminded many people of their own trips or own memories of Hong Kong. Thank you very much. Okay, we have the last final speaker. We'll hear from the Mr. Paulo Benito Tugbang, the Director of the Product Development at Philippines Department of Tourism. So please give him a big round of applause.
Okay, good afternoon and mabuhay. I am Paulo Tugbang, the Director from the Philippine Department of Tourism, and I'm honored to have an audience with such esteemed individuals from your different countries and organizations to present the Philippines' strategic directions in the development of cruise tourism as a priority tourism product. So the Philippines is the Pearl of the Orient Seas, one of the world's largest archipelagic nations, one of the most naturally biodiverse countries, and a major source of global maritime manpower. And it's on the road of becoming a top-tier or top-of-mind cruise destination in Asia. Cruises to the Philippines offer a diverse range of experiences, from exploring bustling city life in Manila to relaxing on stunning beaches in Boracay and Puerto Princesa. While cruising has become the fastest growing form of tourism in much of Asia in recent years, the Philippines has yet to see vigorous activity and the full benefits of this industry, as the nation's diverse and rich tourism offerings and a vigorous maritime industry take front and center in the growth and development plans. Under the Philippine National Tourism Development Plan, cruise tourism has been identified as one of the strategic products capable of attracting regional markets, especially China, South Korea, Japan, India, Taiwan, Malaysia, Australia, USA, and Europe, with moderate length of stay and expenditure. The country has over 12 active ports participating in cruise tourism, managed by both the Philippine Ports Authority and private partners, and with 63 cruise-ready destinations offering a wide variety of shore excursion activities and experiences spread across more than 7,000 islands. The Philippines has also found its strength in expedition cruises. With the segment increasing in popularity globally, it is more fitting with the Philippines' offerings such as numerous island landings and excursions, as well as a variety of water activities from snorkeling, kayaking, and sapboard and diving. The Philippines started from a small base of about 65,000 passenger destination days in 2015 when compared to other Asian destinations, but has now grown to about 400,000 passenger destination days post-pandemic. Additionally, the country is attracting substantial number of cruise calls per year, about 110 by average, but the variety of destinations, culture, natural attractions, history, sophistication, cuisine, shopping, and significant port infrastructure can offer more. The Philippines as an archipelago faces several geographic and logistical challenges in developing the cruise industry. Being east of the major Asian populations, the country is a little too far for inclusion in the short cruises that account for the majority of capacity deployed in China and Southeast Asia. A key to bringing more cruise calls in the Philippines is to attract vessels that operate out of the principal East Asia home ports. Please refer to the following tables on your screens. For the Philippines, the best interport distances for a cruise ship are those that allow departure in the evening for arrival early the next morning, around 12 hours to 14 to 16 knots. Another practical distance allows the same departure and arrival times with one full day at sea, around 36 hours. The second table, on the other hand, shows the distance in nautical miles and cruising time in hours at 16 knots to major Asian ports from Manila in the north and from Puerto Princesa in the south or west, which are the most two accessible entry points to the Philippines. The slide shows two entry ports to the Philippines that are key to producing attractive itineraries between Singapore, which is the major Southeast Asian hub, and Hong Kong, one of the major North Asian hubs, via the Philippines. A cruise starting in Hong Kong in the evening has 2 nights before arriving in Manila and is a very workable link. A number of Philippine ports can be included before leaving Puerto Princesa in the south, heading towards Singapore via Kota Kinabalu or Bandar Seri Begawan, which arrives the next day. So generally speaking, in all other forms of tourism, neighboring countries compete for tourists, recognizing that few people will visit more than one country in any vacation. This, however, may not be the cause for cruise tourism. Cruise lines and their passengers seek a variety of destinations, multiple countries, and high port density. Thus, itineraries that combine neighboring countries work best. Cruising is therefore unique in that as destinations typically depend on each other, they need to cooperate to bring ships to their waters. This is certainly true for the Caribbean, the Mediterranean, the Baltic, and South Pacific cruising programs in these regions, and indeed in most of Asia. But the rule does not always apply to our country. Its geographical position to east of Asia, fringing the West Philippine Sea, puts it as a slight disadvantage to countries in the major cruise regions of the world. To develop cruise tourism, the Philippines will cooperate in promoting some itinerary types and compete for others. Itineraries for cruises that come to the Philippines should start in one major home ports in the North Asia or South Asia. Due to the distances from these home ports, the most attractive cruises will visit ports in other countries on the way or to from the Philippines. Thus, neighbors where cooperation is desirable for us will be from North Asia, coming from Taiwan, Hong Kong, Japan, and South Korea, and from Southeast Asia, such as Malaysia, Brunei, and Singapore. The Philippines does compete against destinations in its west along the eastern seaboard of the Asian mainland. When ships are cruising north to south on open jaw cruises and repositioning voyages, typically will not visit the Philippines, both the Philippines and Vietnam, Thailand, Cambodia on the same itinerary. So in the analysis of the strengths and weaknesses of the Philippines as a tourism destination, the Philippine Department of Tourism has prepared the National Cruise Tourism Development Strategy to provide the framework for harnessing the potential of cruise tourism as an emerging tourism product and a vital engine for tourism growth. The strategy provides a direction that both government and private sector must embark on to increase the number of cruise ships that call to the Philippines and create excellent guest experiences and increase economic benefits to a wider segment of the population, most especially our rural communities. In order to succeed, the strategy has identified a number of key actions to enhance the cruise ship access, port and shoreside infrastructure, ease of doing business, guest activities and attractions, and thus providing a compelling package to the world's cruise lines. A phased approach has been adopted to develop the cruise tourism in the country. It sets an ambitious yet realistic objectives which targets the investments in short, medium, and long term. In addition, the Philippines also seeks to ensure that cruise tourism contributes to the inclusive growth through capitalizing on its multiplier effects, articulating the role of ports as gateways to the economy, investing in infrastructure, and identifying opportunities to showcase and preserve the culture and natural advantages of the nation. With the NCTDS, the government has presented its proactive stance in advancing cruise tourism. To show, here are some of the initiatives and key aspects that are included in the NCTDS. The Philippine Department of Tourism has shown significant support for tourism through various initiatives and policies aimed at enhancing the cruise tourism sector. Our visa policies has also been improved by our Bureau of Immigration by granting visa upon arrival for cruise passengers, which helps reduce costs, eliminate delays, and streamline procedures. There are also regulatory reforms that provide strong emphasis on making our environment more cruise-friendly. This includes waiving cabotage restrictions for cruise ships and revisiting port regulations to be more tourism-friendly. There are also collaborative approach called Team Philippines in terms of involving gaining support from port authorities, airlines, tour operators, and private sector stakeholders. At the local level, cruise facilitation committees are established in each principal destination to ensure smooth operations and maximize opportunities for local businesses and communities. Overall, there is a strong support for tourism in both national and local government agencies, combined with current regulatory reforms and collaborative efforts that create a favorable environment for the growth and development of this sector. One of the best policy examples for cruise tourism that has been developed in recent time is the cruise visa waiver program. The cruise visa waiver program, launched last year in July, helps boost foreign tourist arrivals in the Philippines by streamlining the visa application process for visa-required nationals entering and exiting the country via cruise ships for tourism purposes. So, as guided by the strategy, once again, our development is focused on access, experience, and infrastructure anchored on the turquoise triangle of Manila, Boracay, and Puerto Princesa. To support the nationwide dispersal, we also strengthened 3 geographic boards. The Northern Board, which includes emerging ports like Corimao and Subic, with strong heritage and coastal appeal. The Western Board, home to our core natural attractions with the most active ports. And the Central Board, which connects vibrant island destinations like Bohol, Iloilo, and Siargao. Through these clusters and alongside multilateral efforts like the Asia Cruise Cooperation and the ASEAN Cruise Network, we aim to create sustainable circuits that link ports, protect destinations, and uplift local communities. So corollary to all of this, the key to bringing also more cruise calls to the Philippines, especially in the short term, is to attract vessels. Are 2 strategies anchored on regional partnerships. The first one is the Asia Cruise Cooperation, which is a collaborative effort among several key Asian destinations to boost the region's cruise tourism sector. It was founded in 2014, and the ACC focuses on promoting its members' cruise destinations, enhancing itineraries, and attracting more cruise lines to Asia. So our members include Hong Kong, Korea, Philippines, and Xiamen. ACC participates in industry events, hosts forums to facilitate dialogue between cruise lines and destinations, and works on improving infrastructure and visa policies to streamline the cruise experience. Parallel to that, the Philippines is also part of a network of countries within the ASEAN, with Singapore as our lead convener, and it supports the regional promotion of ASEAN as a cruise-friendly destination. We were recently in the ASEAN-India Cruise Dialogue, and these partnerships will play a crucial role in harmonizing cruise development and strengthening our regional partnerships. Of course, the Philippines also hosted last year's Sea Trade Cruise Asia for the very first time in Manila. This landmark event brought about 400 international participants, including more than 50 cruise line executives, and featured high-level conferences, B2B meetings, exhibitions, and fam trips. It also showcased the growing cruise capabilities and positioned the Philippines as a serious player in Asia's cruise tourism landscape. Of course, before we conclude, we'd like you to please look at the very short video of what you can see in the Philippines when you visit the island of Palawan.
Life feels like a routine, but what if the path you're on could lead somewhere extraordinary? Welcome to Palawan. Kayak through emerald lagoons and marvel at towering limestone cliffs. Explore the enchanting underground river and dive into vibrant coral gardens teeming with life. Every corner of Palawan is a masterpiece of nature and adventure. Explore award-winning destinations. Love the Philippines.
So that ends my presentation. Thank you so much.
Thank you for your wonderful presentation. Although we are all part of Asia, the different countries starting from Malaysia, Japan, Taiwan, Hong Kong, and Philippines, we had chance to see the unique visions and the policies of different cultures and countries as the cruise destinations, and we have offered diverse perspectives. So this concludes all the sessions of the day one of the 2025 Asia Cruise Forum Jeju. I would like to thank everyone for your participation. And as you can see on your table, there is a survey paper. So please complete the survey and join the lucky draw at the event desk. The first prize is the ticket to the cruise. So I hope everyone can participate actively. And tomorrow we have great programs, including the session 3. So we hope to welcome everyone tomorrow for another exciting and enriching programs. Thank you very much. This was the announcer, Chang. 네, 오늘 이것으로 제12회 제주 국제 크루즈 포럼 1일차 행사를 모두 마치도록 하겠습니다. 지금까지 진행의 아나운서 손보련이었습니다. 여러분 고맙습니다.